Hey there, it's Neil from Dandy Does It. A couple of episodes ago, I showed you guys how I like to flash my bottom. Well, this time I'm going to show you how I like to flash in the window. Let's do it. Here in Tennessee, we've had some crazy rains over the past week or so, and I had just finished this whole wall, and you can see that in a previous episode. And of course, I flashed and installed this window as well. And no leaks so far. It's been dry as a bone.
You know, dry as a bone is a funny term. I mean, are bones really dry? I mean, when you first rip them out of somebody's body, they're not really dry. But anyway, here you can see my flashing job. You can see I've had no leakage whatsoever. Tight as a drum. Well, would a drum be really loose? Not if the head's loose. Okay, I need to stop that. Anyway, let's get on over here. I made sure that while I was sheathing the wall, I put my seam tape around there to protect the edges of the sheathing that were cut and left unprotected. That way, when the rains come, even though it's probably just a few days before I do my proper flashing, at least it's got some protection. Now, that seam tape looks pretty good, but I think I'm going to take it up, especially right here. I'm going to kind of cut that off in the corners and take it up. That way I have some proper room for my flashing tape. And here's what we're using today. We're using Reliabuilt waterproof flashing tape. And this stuff is pretty reasonably priced, which is why I bought it. You know, I mean, that, you know, zip system stuff is like $30 a roll, and, you know, ain't nobody wanting to spend money on that, especially when this stuff works just fine, and I've already proven that to myself with that other window. So we're using this Reliabuilt waterproof flashing tape. Going to use a speed square, and that's to make sure we're just going to use that to kind of get in our corners and make sure the flashing tape sets well. Got a roller so that we can really secure down our flashing tape. And we've got a pocket knife for cutting the flashing tape, which we're going to do right over here. Oh, and also we have a tumbler of cold water because it's 100 freaking degrees out here. Let's get to work. So you can see I've removed the seam tape from the corners. Got a little bit of casualties there in the corners, but we'll patch those up with some of our liquid flashing before we proceed, actually. And for this, we're going to use our trusty APOC 365. And it's a little scrap piece of wood to smooth it out with. We just want to protect where the bare wood is. And we're going to do that in all four corners. Now we're going to start with our flashing in the corners here. So we're going to just kind of size it up here, and we're going to probably figure it about right there. Give it a nice cut here at our table. By George, I think we've got it. And since we know we're going to be doing the same in our other corner down here, use this one that we just cut as the template for our next one. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, I probably went a little big on this. Find your corner. We're going to make a cut right up the middle from that corner. And of course, it goes without saying that a sharp knife is the kind of knife you want for this. Got to get through that stuff. Lay it flat. I've got a little excess here. I need to cut that off. And I'm going to roll it in here. The great thing about this stuff is that the hotter it gets out in this summertime sun,
the more it sets up. And then down here in the corners, get it to really set up. You just kind of bring your square in here and press it in. Get everything to seat real nicely in the places where you can't really get your roller. I'm gonna do this bottom of our window jamb here. I'm gonna go a couple inches up the side, about here. You wanna kind of figure out the middle here, come on the inside here. Got that in here. I'm going to kind of come in here and seat it in the corners real good. You got to remember, when you put your window in here, the more layers you have over here, the tougher it's going to be. Seat your window in, and now we're going to cut the outsides of these corners right here from the window out. Come around like so. That goes over the piece of flashing we had. That you want to think about the way water is going to run. If water gets back here, it's going to run over this and then over that. We don't want it to ever go under. Cut my other end here. Bend that over here. I think I want to start from the middle and work my way out. Come back in here with my trusty speed square, get in this corner. And roller does so much better than by hand. You think you can get it good by hand, but this even pressure from a roller, it just really can't be beat. Get on the outside here as well. Just look how nice that's seated on there. Now we just got to do our sides here and then our top flashing, and we'll be ready to install a window. But we're not going to install the window today, just the flashing. So I've cut my strip to length for the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it to the outside, then make my cuts and fold in. And that's real nice. We're all tight here, and even though we're doing our top flashing, since the bottom's the same width as the top, why reach up and measure it that way? Just spread it across the bottom to get your length. And I generally want to go a little longer on my top than anything else because I want to make sure it spreads completely across all that flashing. That way water comes down, goes over this, and just goes over everything and never behind. Now up here in these top corners, I am going to put a little liquid flashing just to make extra sure everything's tight. And this window is flashed. Dandy does it.